Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico, where we can take you beyond the usual on your vacation. Each week we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only locals can. Get real tips to real places, insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So pour yourself a margarita, mezcal, or tequila, grab yourself a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hey everyone, this is Kay Walton with Loco Gringo Mexico. Thanks so much for joining us today. Well, we're going to be talking to Ael Enciso, and she's from Playa del Carmen, and we've known each other for years, and I'm so thrilled that she agreed to be a guest on the show. And I have to tell you, today's conversation, we might jump around a little bit because, you know, sometimes that's what girls do when they get together. And so I love the fact that I was able to catch up with Ael to talk not only about weddings, but some of her favorite things that she likes to do in the area that you can definitely experience while you're visiting, and a bit about her journey here in the Riviera Maya. This episode is brought to you by Playa. You know, lots of people ask us for information and help when it comes to real estate, whether they're looking for retirement, an investment property, or maybe they're looking to relocate to the area. And we refer them over to our friends at Playa. The folks at Playa we've known for years, and they'll make sure that you, the buyer, are fully protected and informed when it comes to buying real estate. So if you're looking to buy a piece of paradise, check out our friends at buyplaya.com. Hey, Ael, good morning. Buenos dias. How are you?
Good morning, Kay. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine. Thanks so much for being on the show today. I'm thrilled to share your story and some of your great adventures here in the Riviera Maya with everybody. I appreciate your time.
And I'm really happy you have me here. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
So, you know, as I tell everybody, all of our guests here, really the show's about your journey, aside from, you know, sharing some of your favorite things here in the area, but about your journey. So can you tell us a little bit, because you're not originally from Cancun.
Exactly.
And so give us a little bit of background.
It's actually quite a funny story because I was made in Cozumel. That's where my mom originally got pregnant. And my dad didn't trust the hospitals here in the area back then. Obviously, it was in 1980. So he took my mom to Mexico so I could be born in like a real hospital. But the thing is that my mom took a shower and she started getting contractions and didn't make it to the hospital. So I was born in my grandma's living room in Mexico City.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's my original story. My mom has said that I've always been impatient, and I was even impatient, you know, at the time of birth.
That's a great story.
It is. It's an interesting beginning. And later from that, my life, I've been practically everywhere. We lived partially here in Cancun, and I think we went to live in Guadalajara. Obviously, I don't remember. I was really little. And we went to live to the U.S. because my dad got a job there, and I think we lived there for like almost, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years. And finally back in Cancun, I think in like 1995 or 98, and we haven't left since. So I've been a little bit of everywhere.
You know, I've met you through Del Sol Photography.
Mm-hmm.
That was a couple of years ago, and you've been really involved in the hospitality industry. What are some of the favorite jobs that you've had in the area? Because, you know, you've been with the hotel industry, photography, and now you're doing marketing for weddings. Mm-hmm. What has been some of your more favorite experiences working here in the area?
Well, that's a really tough question. I'll be honest with you. I actually wanted to work doing like something like crazy genetic engineering or something like that when I was little.
Really?
Yeah. I studied chemical biology in school, so I really wanted to focus on that. But my entire family has been in the tourism industry. my dad always jokes around that he used to change my diaper in a travel agency. So it was kind of natural for me to take that route. And when I studied my career, I obviously studied tourism, and I said, well, I'm going to give it a try. And I loved it. And yeah, like you said, I worked in, I think, everywhere. I think maybe airlines is the only thing I haven't done. But I worked in travel agencies, hotels, car rentals, photography, weddings, and it's been a really interesting journey because I think it has given me a really good perspective of what people need, of the type of service that maybe they expect and that we should be giving as a destination. And it's also given me the opportunity to travel around the world, and that has been also a really nice journey, see what everybody else is doing. So I think I loved every bit of it.
Can you tell me, when you talk about service and what people should expect, we have a lot of listeners who it may be their first time to our area. We have a lot of people who have been to Cabo or Puerto Vallarta. Can you explain a little bit from your experiences here in the Riviera Maya, what people can expect and what they should set their sights on as they come down here in terms of service and hospitality?
Well, I really think it depends on where they would be staying at, obviously, but I like to see this area as a little bit more laid back and a little bit more authentic. So I believe people here in the area like to offer really good tips and ideas on where to go and eat and have tacos, for dinner at a local restaurant, or, other things to do aside that the regular things that are promoted and offered as in the area. So a little bit more authentic, I would say. More authentic and more laid back.
And do you find that is it still easy to get? Because there's some people, some old time customers who would come down, or tourists who have been here since like the 80s and early 90s, and sometimes they say, "Oh, it's really crazy. It's not as laid back." But I still find areas that I can pretty much chill out. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I've had a lot of friends that come and visit the area, and sometimes they come with this idea, right? Like these tours or activities that they've heard from friends or from, when they read at home, I want to do this. And I'm like, no. I mean, of course you can do that, but there's a lot of other really interesting places that you can go to, and yes, obviously the area has grown a lot, but I still think that there are really amazing places that are practically undiscovered. Not too long ago, I don't know if I should be saying this, I went to Muyil, and I've been in the area, I don't know, for maybe 15 years. I had never gone to Muyil, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I always find myself discovering these incredible places. I'm like, people really need to get out there more.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, Muyil is a small Mayan ruin site that is south of Tulum. If you go take the highway south through the pueblo of Tulum, and you keep going, and I want to say maybe 15, 20 minutes, you'll come across a speed bump, and Muyil's on the left.
Yeah. And it's just paradise. I just can't describe it. It's amazing. I loved it.
Now, have you been on the Mayan Canal tour? There's a little path that takes you down to the lagoon from the ruins. Have you been on the canal tour yet?
Oh, yes. I did everything. I took that little jungle path. There's this tower, this wooden tower in the middle of the jungle that you can just go up there and see the entire lagoon and everything. And then we took a little boat ride through the Mayan channels, and then you get to do a little bit of swimming there, and it has a bit of current, so you just float around, and it's pretty cool. Just right in the middle of mangroves, there's nobody there, there's nothing, and I don't know how we landed in like this private beach, and I think that's already part of Siangkan. I'm sorry if I don't like know the entire tour, but it was amazing. We got to see pelicans, we saw crocodiles, and I was like, I just can't believe I've been living here for so long and have never been to this place. It's paradise.
No, it's absolutely fabulous. It's one of my most favorite things to do. I think I've been down through the Mayan Canal and taken boat rides through the Laguna there. I don't know, probably 8 or 10 times, and I never get tired of it. I get that same thrill as I did in the early 90s when there was there wasn't much of anything, and that whole thrill of excitement is still there every time I get aboard the boat.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, this is just impressive. So yeah, I mean, if you come to the area, of course you can go to Chichen Itza and all of those things, but I'm like, there's a lot of other really interesting places that you can go to. So definitely get out there more.
Well, as long as we're talking about it, what are some of those other recommendations that you have for people in terms of getting out and doing things? What are some of your favorite recommendations or tips that you would have for them?
I definitely love going to the cenotes. Just drive around and find one that you like. I love this Muyil experience. I love Cuba, even though nowadays people are visiting it more often. But what I do is when I go to Cuba is I take the bike and I try to, yes, of course I visit the ruins, but there's like other little paths in the middle of the jungle that there's nobody there. And it's pretty cool. So I try to do like the other extreme experience of Cuba. And there's another Mayan city that I visited once that few people talk about it, and it's Ikbalam. And yeah, it's impressive. And there's very few people there. It's really different and really unique. And I loved it. And those are the kind of places that I go to because I'm the kind of person that on New Year's just finds like a place in the middle of nowhere. So I like to stay away from the crowds. Holbox is also one of my favorites. And yeah, I think those are the ones that come to mind right now.
Now, have you been out for the whale shark experience in Isla Holbox?
Oh, yes. I've done it, I think, maybe like 4 or 5 times, and I love it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that happens when that's during the summer months, about June to August. Yeah.
I think it starts as early as in May, but I'm not quite sure. My husband's the one that knows that. He does all the scuba diving things.
Well, I want to ask you, and I want to get back to one of the things that you're involved with now, because it has to do with our destination, is weddings. There's a lot of destination weddings that come to the area, more so now than ever before, correct?
Yes, it's an industry that has grown a lot, and I've loved seeing like people specializing and offering really unique things. I mean, when I started, I think in this wedding business, it was, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. People weren't that into weddings. Hotels didn't really understand what it was all about. So it was just like, okay, well, we'll offer a package, and if you want to get married, that's fine, you know? But nowadays, it's a really beautiful industry. There's associations, there's people that really like to help each other. I've seen more and more the people involved in the wedding industry worried about the entire destination, right? So they're getting specialized, they're taking courses, they're, trying to see what are the trends out there besides in the Riviera Maya and Cancun. They're studying. So I think the wedding business is not only getting bigger, but it's getting more specialized, and people are actually worried about doing things really nice.
And for any of our potential brides to be out there who are listening, do you have a few tips for them or suggestions, or in terms of just like why the Riviera Maya? There's so many great places around the world, but why the Riviera Maya to be with your betrothed?
Well, there's certainly a magic in the Riviera Maya for weddings. And for me, obviously, I lived in Cancun for many years, but I like to bring that little magic a little bit more towards Riviera Maya and Tulum area. The beaches there are more quiet. You know, the hotels are more petite. There's tiny villas. So it's a little bit different, the experience. And what I've also loved about this area is, I mean, I know you can do a destination wedding anywhere in the world, but the Riviera Maya offers activities for your guests and all kinds of activities. You know, you can go to the Mayan ruins, you can go to Muyil. I've heard of a bride that did like this private tour of snorkeling and having like lunch in a private beach area, and that was actually pretty cool. You can do a catamaran. So there's like golf. I mean, there's so many things that you can do and offer to your guests. So it's not only just a wedding, it's like an entire vacation for everybody that is in your group.
Can people have a wedding like inexpensively, or is it a really big investment to have a destination wedding?
It depends on the type of wedding that you want and the guests. And obviously there are ways to have less expensive weddings, but nowadays there are vendors that are getting more specialized. So yes, I do believe the prices have increased from maybe, 8 years up to today. But in my idea, I believe that weddings should be about the couple. You know, and I also see this trend a lot when I talk with brides and grooms, is that they're so worried about, you know, what they see in Pinterest and competing with their friends' weddings and trying to do something that is way too impressive or unique or different, that they actually forget about what weddings are all about. And that's about the love that you two have for each other. So yes, of course, the flowers and the cake and the decor and everything is really pretty, but I think you have to remember the magic about, you know, just being the two of you and enjoying the people around you. And then from there, of course, you can have something really like a huge production with tons of flowers and everything, because obviously for photography, it looks beautiful. But I also believe that you can do a beautiful wedding with just, you know, the backdrop, the ocean, and just giving details to your guests. And I also see a lot of couples that create like funds to help like people in the area, local communities, or people that rescue dogs. And I think that's also something really interesting that you can do.
Oh, that's really clever to try to tie in a community service activity.
Yes, and there's actually a lot of wedding planners that do it already. They offer you the option of, you know, okay, you do your wedding through us, but just so you know, a percentage of everything that you spend in your wedding goes to either charity or local communities or people that rescue dogs or, you know, all kinds of stuff. And then there's couples that just want to do it, and they create like a little fund. And that's also something nice to do, because you not only do your wedding at a beautiful place, but you leave a little bit of something into that, you know, community or that place.
Oh, that's great. It's always nice to give back to our community, because it's I know it's, I don't know, all the locals. I really appreciate being a foreigner in Mexico, even though I've been here for 25 years, is that I still give back, because I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to live here and really love the people that are in my community, and love to be able the opportunity to give back. And of course, I'll give my big shout out to Coco's Animal Welfare, who I love and have adopted animals from and everything. So that's great that the wedding industry is taking on a bit of a warm heart towards the community and giving back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned Coco's. Yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of them. I've participated in their campaigns and their state campaigns. I'm a volunteer. I think I've done it the past 3 years.
Yeah, I love those guys a whole lot. Question for you is that you've had an opportunity, as you mentioned earlier, to travel around, and we're born in your grandma's house on the floor there. But out of all the is there another place in Mexico that you love? I know your heart is here in the Riviera Maya, and it's your passion. But do you have any special places within the country of Mexico that you go, you know what, this place is kind of special to me, or I'd love to get back to it to spend a little more time?
Yes, there are a few. And I actually wish, now that you say it, that I could travel more in my country, because I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world. But, when you think of traveling, obviously you want to go as far away as possible. So I have traveled within my country. I traveled a few years back to Chiapas, and I'm dying to go back. I love Chiapas. It's it's a little mix, right, of jungle and like this really colonial towns. When I went to Chiapas, we stayed literally, they called it a cabin, but it was actually just like a palapa roof. I don't know how you would call that, with no doors, no nothing. I mean, there was just like a camping area in the middle of the jungle. And I think if my mom would have seen me there, she would have had a heart attack. But it was an incredible experience. I love Oaxaca. I've visited Guanajuato, and that's one of the few places that I said, okay, one day I'll come back and live here, because I loved it so much. Puebla is very nice. Obviously, Mexico City, I still have a lot of family there. I go maybe once every 2 years or so. It's a really historical, interesting, vibrant city, really crazy busy, but it's well worth the visit. And I still have in my to-do list, or in my bucket list, Querétaro, which I'm really dying to visit as well. So, yeah, I think those are the ones that come to mind. I've been to Cabos. Cabos is really, really nice, really interesting too. But in the end, for me, it's just like the beach, and I love my beach better, Riviera Maya. So,
exactly.
If I go travel, I go more colonial or something different. Definitely.
No, I love some of the colonial towns within Mexico as well. It's a different variety of cultures to be able to travel around in central Mexico. We're here in the Yucatan. We have a lot more Mayan history and ruins here, so that it's a nice diversity across the country of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
So, anything else that you want to share with people that they should experience, eat, do? Any tips so that they can have an absolutely fabulous stay if they come down? When they come down here?
Definitely get out there more. I think there's a lot of websites nowadays from locals that also try to bring people over to the area and give them an authentic experience. So I would ask locals like what they like and what they do. There's a lot of things to do in the area. I personally love also adventure, and I forgot to say that, all those kind of zip lines and flying over the jungle. I love it, and I can do it 1,000 times. As far as restaurants go, we always have a lot of people come over and visit us. My husband is French, so I think maybe 2 or 3 times a year we have this huge group of French people that come over and visit us, and we go and have, those kind of tacos that you find like right on the highway, like the ones that are Puerto Aventuras. I don't know what the name is, right on the highway. Those are really good.
Los Arbos.
Yes, thank you. So we always take them there. We've taken them to have pozole, which is, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this soup. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to explain it, but pozole I love, and I love to see the French people try pozole as well. When we go out, we do go a lot to Bahía Solimán, like right at the end of Bahia Soliman, there's like this little place on the beach, which in my opinion has one of the best ceviches like in the entire area. And of course you have like this beautiful beach in front of you. So that's really nice to go and visit as well. And
it's Jamiko's.
Yes. Jamiko's. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. No.
Well, no, you know what? A lot of people who come on the show all rave about Jamiko's. I think all of us locals go there, and you're right. The ceviche there is fabulous. I love it because they put lobster in it, and so it's quite the treat if you go on a Sunday to have ceviche with lobster. And their pescado entero, their entire fish that they fry in the back. You can watch the ladies from the kitchen fry that fish up, which is just absolutely amazing, and pretty tasty tacos with that fresh fish. Yes.
And I can't think of any other places that come to mind right now. But if you ever visit the area, I think my opinion is as locals, get out of the hotels, get out of, your regular comfort zone or whatever the touristy guides tell you to, because there's a lot of really unique places to explore. There's amazing food, and yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Wonderful. Ael, tell me, if people want to reach out to you, ask you questions, whether it's about where to go have pozole or about weddings and some recommendations, what's the best way people can reach out?
I currently don't have my personal website. I've been working on that, but I do have my Instagram account, and it's Encissimo, ENCISSIMO. I'm always posting a lot of things on my Instagram account about everything, daily life, about places I like to visit, about weddings. I create a little hashtag, which is Vida de una Playense, a life of a Playense, a person that lives in Playa. And yeah, through my email, Becker, Ael, @gmail.com. And yeah, I think that's the easiest way to find me. I've been living here in the area between Cancun and Riviera Maya for I think the past 17 years. And it's funny how even people in the industry, either hoteliers or weddings, they still contact me and, hey, Ael, do you know where we can get a horse? Or do you know where, I can find somebody that can model for an event I'm doing this weekend? So people still reach out to me to ask me all kinds of questions, and I tell my husband, that's so funny, but yeah, I'm happy to help. I think my journey here in the area has taken me to meet a lot of people, so I can help you find almost anything, a yacht, a horse, whatever.
That's great. Next time I need a horse, I'm going to contact you.
All right.
Well, we'll have all of your contact information. Everybody who wants to contact Ael, we'll have links over from today's show notes that will have links over to the Instagram and email, all of that. And you can always contact me, ask@locogringo.com, and I can hook you up for sure. Ael, thank you so much. I really hope that you'll come back again, and we'll talk about more favorite places. And we always love to hear about what's going on with those brides and some of the interesting things that are happening in the world of weddings and all of that. It's just muy romantico.
Thank you so much, Kay. I've known you for so long, and it's been nice to have this little chat with you and nice to help people out. And I really appreciate you having me on the show today. Oh,
you're most welcome. And we'll have to get together and have a margarita or a coffee soon.
Absolutely.
Well, are you inspired now to move down here? Do you want to move down here and have a little place of your own? Well, then you need to talk to our friends at By Playa. They have a friendly and knowledgeable international staff. They speak lots of languages, and they are known as being a buyer's agent. Well, what does that mean? That means they are only going to show you and sell you properties they know that have escrituras. An escritura is a title. And it's part of their due diligence to make sure the title is clear, there's no liens, and that the person who's selling the property is actually the owner. By Playa works with lawyers that specialize in fideicomisos, which is a Mexican trust. You may have heard of it already before. And they can address things such as capital gains problems immediately and right up front, so that you have no surprises along the way to closing. So contact our friends at By Playa at buyplaya.com. Hey, before you go, just a reminder that if you're looking for things to do, services, some help while you're here planning all that fun stuff, reach out to our concierge. You can visit our website, locogringodirectory.com, for all sorts of restaurants and activities and everything under the sun here in the Riviera Maya. And you can also email our concierge, Paulina. She's at concierge@locogringo.com. She's more than happy to help you out. Till next week, everybody. Hasta la vista.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana. Su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza. Pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca. Y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa.